In our last video, we talked about the best way to totally pay off the mortgage on your primary residence, all right? Go back and watch that video because there's a school of thought that says you should pay off your mortgage early. There's a school of thought that says you shouldn't, but our video seeks to show you how to do that and, some considerations you must take into account. In this video, we're going to talk about the car and whether or not you should pay that off early or whether or not you should buy the car outright for cash. Now, at Money Changes Everything, we focus on having the financial ability to do certain things, to make certain moves. There are many schools of thought in terms of how to handle finance, and I don't really like to get too specific on this channel strictly because there are many people, and for every person throughout the stages of one person's life, you might have several different stages of your financial life. So what's good for you and what you should be doing in your 20s may be totally different from what you should be doing in your 30s, and then different again in your 40s and 50s and so on. So let me just throw a concept at you with regard to the vehicle and what you should be considering when you purchase one and whether or not you should purchase it for cash. All right, first of all, let's focus on this fact. Assets. We want to buy assets. We've gone through the definition of asset before. An asset is something that's going to appreciate in value and or provide income. So you might have an asset that appreciates in value, like a share of Google or Amazon. They appreciate in value. They have been appreciating at a rate greater than inflation, so you're making money there. They don't provide income. There is no dividend with those stocks. So it does fit the definition of an asset because it does appreciate in value. Now you have other assets that appreciate in value and or provide income. Case in point, a dividend paying stock or rental real estate. That's appreciating in value most of the time, that rental real estate, and it's kicking off an income if you've done your homework and you got a good paying tenant in there and you control your expenses and you're actually making a profit. Then there are assets that just provide income. One of those assets is a car, all right? So what kind of vehicles, a car or a motor vehicle, what kind of motor vehicle serves as an asset? Well, of course, you have a limousine. Yes, the underlying thing, the piece of equipment, is depreciating in value. And if you've got a business, a limousine business, the IRS is allowing you to account for that depreciation of that item in your taxes. They're actually giving you a tax break for depreciation. They're recognizing that this piece of equipment is not increasing in value, okay? But it is providing income because you're taking fares back and forth to the airport or some celebrity to a party or what have you. There are plenty of other examples. Dump truck, for example, that's a vehicle, a piece of equipment, motor-driven vehicle that is providing income while it is depreciating. Okay, so we understand the difference between an asset and a liability. Of course, a liability is something that is not appreciating in value and is not providing income. So ask yourself, the car you have right now, is it an asset? Is it appreciating in value? Is it providing you income? If it's not, then it's clearly not an asset. There are some cars that do appreciate in value. However, they're usually pretty high-end or exotic cars. We're talking Ferrari and stuff like that. And then it's not guaranteed that all of them will appreciate. If you take a look at, let's say, Aston Martin, that's a premium car brand. And if you go out and price a brand new Aston Martin, and then you take a look at Aston Martins that were on sale a few years ago, you see that depreciation at work. Did you know that when you drive a new car off the lot, and new cars have an average price of $40,000, When you drive a new car off the lot, that car loses 20% of its value right up front. Okay, so the average cost of a new car is $40,000. When you drive it off the lot, you're going to realize an appreciation in many cases of 20%. So that's $8,000 you've lost right up front, okay, in the first few weeks of driving that car. And if you don't believe me, if you've ever bought a new car, you know someone who has, go and ask them to go back to the dealership maybe a month after they've purchased that vehicle and ask how much they could get for the trade-in. And it's going to be shocking. So not only is the car, in most cases, not appreciating, it's not providing income, but it's actually losing value. And there are a lot of reasons why cars lose value. First of all, cars are not rare, okay? You might go out and buy a BMW 3 Series today. Well, it would probably start appreciating if BMW said they're going to stop making cars. But they're not going to do that. In fact, they're going to start making more and more 3 Series. So they're going to get more advanced, and you're going to find that the car you have becomes older, wear and tear, less advanced. So it naturally will lose value. So how do you play that? Should you then go into a dealership knowing that if you plunk down $40,000, you're going to lose $8,000 of that almost immediately after you take possession of the vehicle? Well, here's what I like to do. I like the idea of a certified pre-owned vehicle, all right? First of all, let's untie your ego from the depreciating asset, which is a car. Untie your ego from that. Go ahead and take a look at a certified pre-owned vehicle. Why do I say certified pre-owned? Because first of all, pre-owned means someone else got hit with that depreciation, the previous owner. Number one. Number two, there are certain types of maintenance plans and guarantees that you will be granted by purchasing a certified pre-owned vehicle if you go that route, which is just different from if you just purchase a used car. Okay, so I am a fan of certified pre-owned because even though I know that this vehicle is going to continue to lose value, I do not want to be stranded on 95. I don't want to be worried about, is this thing going to start in the morning? Okay, I do want it to be reliable. Now, the average price of a used vehicle or a pre-owned vehicle is $21,000. That is the 2017 models, okay? If you go back 3 or 4 years, the 2017 models are, on average, worth $21,000. That's almost half of the average price of a new car. And that again demonstrates to you how that depreciation is working. So just like with the video we did about the house, should you take $40,000 if you want to buy a new car, or $21,000 if you want to buy a used car, should you take that large amount of money, take it out of play where it could be making you some money doing other things, and put it into something that is losing value? Because again, unless you have an exotic or some type of ultra rare vehicle, 9 times out of 10, your Honda Accords, all that stuff, these cars that we drive, they're losing value. All right. So should you take that money and plunk all of that into something that is losing value? I think you already know the answer to that. Now, should you have the ability to pay that car off? Absolutely. Just like with the mortgage, you should have the ability to go ahead and wipe that bill out and bolster your cash flow at any time. Say if, something happened where you were kind of sketchy on whether or not you were going to continue to would be able to continue to derive income from whatever sources you derive it from, okay? But you want to keep the car, yeah, you should have the ability to go ahead and pay it off. That is what's going to bring you that peace of mind. But if you can get that money working, let's say you put down $2,000 on a car and it's a used vehicle, so on average $21,000. So you've got a $19,000 plus the interest on that $19,000. You've got roughly a 23 at current rates, but 2.3%. You've got roughly a $23,000 bill there being financed, yeah, go ahead and keep that money in something that is working for you. Because again, you put all that money into a car, it is not going to work for you. It's going to lose value. Another thing you want to do is you want to make sure, if you do finance a vehicle, you want to make sure that there are no prepayment penalties if you decide you want to pay it off early. Okay, that you can go ahead and do that, not incur any undue charges or penalties for having that finance company not get that entire amount of interest that they thought they were going to get up front. All right, so we've done a couple of videos on this channel about how to look at that car purchase. And I'm going to tell you, these generations that are kids right now, they're going to have a whole different relationship with the car. It's not going to be as personal, and they're not going to be paying a monthly note for it. They're not going to be paying maintenance. We're moving to a subscription model with these robo-taxis and that whole concept that is coming out. But for you and me, people who have grown up with car ownership at the forefront of our minds in terms of transportation, there's a better way to do it. So always make sure you have the ability to be able to pay off your car. However, you got to get that money working for you. It is insane to go and put all of that money on something that is depreciating. If you're going and buying an exotic Ferrari that has done nothing but appreciate, then forget everything I said. But if you're going to buy the cars that most people see on the streets, okay, every day of the week, that is a depreciating item. All right, talk to you soon.